Hey Dad, is infighting within leftist groups real? If so, how do you deal with it? Great question. Thank you, comrade. In short, no. Leftist infighting within organizations is not really happening, at least not to a large extent. And we'll get into at least one exception here in just a bit. If you're organizing outside of your own social circle, outside of just the few people that you know and can consistently agree with, in networks and coalitions, in various solidarity and mutual aid projects, then you are organizing with people that you do not always ideologically agree with. I've been organizing for over 20 years in anti-war, LGBTQ, and other various mass movements. And I've hardly seen any leftist infighting. When you will run into infighting is when, like, for example, if you're starting a new organization or like a network or coalition, you'll come up with disagreements on, say, how you're going to organize the group. Like Marxist-Leninist, we want people, we want to have facilitators or co-chairs or some sort of organizational apparatus set in place. And many times anarchists will not. They'll want to have it just, passed around, or they have various different things. And then there'll be different ideas on democracy. Marxist-Leninists tend to go with majority rules or some form of maybe supermajority, and anarchists will go with consensus. So when we talk about those things, yes, you will have some struggle, and that comes from our ideological differences. But it shouldn't come to infighting. These should be conversations that we have. The reason that leftist infighting isn't real is because most of us are too busy working. Organizing and agitating and educating takes a lot of work. And when you're in meetings, people are generally, you're going from, if you have an agenda, then you're going to go from one topic to another. You're not going to, there's no time or room to debate about Stalin or whatever we do here on the internet, which is where leftist infighting is everywhere, right? That's why it's always funny to me when people say, I would never organize with a Trotskyist, or they speak like anarchists are just trash, or the vice versa. Anarchists will say on the internet, they'll say, I'd never organize with red fascists, authoritarians. Then you're actually probably not doing anything at all. You're not organizing and out there outside of maybe doing like food not bombs. Other than that, there's no possible way to be organizing with those kinds of restrictions. If one's organizing doesn't go beyond just their few social circle, their comrades, then you're probably involved in some sort of like purity politics, some sort of ultra leftism, something that's saying that, we're the only ones correct and everyone else is wrong and worthless. So in that case, folks should, do some self-reflecting and maybe consider that even if you're right, you're wrong. So this brings us to, how do we deal with leftist infighting when it does happen? And in my opinion, this is done through patience and persistence. When your organization is taking action and doing actions, my cat, which we should be doing, right? Then we have to also go back and reflect and self-criticize on the actions that we've taken. And that's the opportunity for communists to involved in the organization, to point out where the organization or group has taken an ultra-left or a liberal or puritist or whatever deviation, and to explain, well, see, we did this and it led to these results. But if we would have done, and then insert correct line here, it would have produced these correct results. And you learn that through doing. And for some comrades, if you're going from party to party or group to group or network or coalition, and you're running into this infighting, I would consider reflecting on your own behavior and attitudes. And sometimes the leftist infighting is actually a good thing. It's an expression of the organization defining its political parameters, its political line. Sometimes in doing so, the line has to be so definite that it excludes some people. And that's going to cause friction because their political ideology is being excluded. Sometimes our organization has to have a specifically anti-imperialist line, right? And that's going to upset some of the progressives. Things like that will come up, and that infighting is a good thing, and that is our time for political debate within an organization, and that's when ignoring it would be, as Mao describes, liberalism. So sometimes leftist infighting is actually a good thing. Anyways, sorry the video is so long. Solidarity, comrades.